YouTube, what's going on? Watching another Summoning Salt video. Been a little while. This time we're gonna do some Halo 2. I just remembered recently that I haven't watched this yet, and it's very interesting to me because I love me some Halo. So as always, courtesy of Summoning Salt, please go give the original video a view and a like, and let's get into it. Man, the music always hits, man. It's so good. It's so good.
If you've ever tried playing Halo 2 on Legendary difficulty,
It
you
sucks.
know that it's one of gaming's most brutal challenges.
Dude, the fucking jackals,
it goes
man.
way beyond the hardest
jackal
settings
snipers.
of most games. Enemies are stronger, they're more plentiful, and they kill you almost instantly. Beating Halo 2 on Legendary is a serious achievement. But one group of gamers takes it a step
snipe,
further.
man.
They strive to beat Halo 2 Legendary as fast as physically possible. And through thousands of collective hours from the game's best players, they've taken the record to unimaginable levels.
I'm curious to see
This is
these
the history
glitches.
of Halo 2 world records.
Boom, 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 boom. The music just hits so hard, man. Yeah, I'm so curious to see what the glitch is. I'm sure there's so many things that I've never seen before. I think Halo 2 had the super jump thing, right?
And now a word from this video's sponsor, Xbox Game Pass.
Oh yeah?
Valheim
Alright.
is now available to play on Xbox with Game Pass. And to celebrate, they're hosting a new speedrun competition. And you can participate
you can
right
speedrun
now.
Valheim? What
Here
the
are
fuck?
the rules. The goal is to kill a troll as fast as possible.
Oh, okay.
Timing starts when the character takes their first step and ends on the frame the troll dies. It must be on a new game with a new Viking, using the World Seed Game Pass, and it must be a solo run. All exploits and glitches are banned. The fastest 3 submissions will receive special
I like that it's the same
rewards
seed.
blessed by Odin himself. One of 3
Yo,
custom
what the hell?
controllers.
Those are cool.
To participate, upload a video of your run to YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, or TikTok. The title must include hashtag Game Pass Valheim Speedrun, and the video must be from your Xbox. The deadline is 5:59 p.m. Pacific time on May 27th. See if you can enshrine yourself.
Yeah, the
in
fact that everybody has to
speedrunning
use the same
history. Best
seed
of luck.
is a good idea, obviously. Oh,
Game
it's
Pass
fair.
has hundreds of high-quality games like Valheim available on release day. Discover your next favorite game with Xbox Game Pass.
Like Marvel Cosmic Invasion
Halo
that we just
2
played.
has had a thriving speedrun scene ever since its release in 2004. Players competed on both individual levels and the full game on each of the 4 difficulty modes. While all these records were lowered over time, the most prestigious one was the full game Legendary speedrun, thanks to its incredible difficulty.
Dude, I've only played the Legendary
was featured at
campaigns
GDQ
in
events,
co-op,
and
besides
videos were shared all
Reach
over
and
the
5 at Infinite.
It was a very popular speedrun.
Like on MCC, I did
But
them all
the
co-op, but
actual
even
record
co-op, man, there's some
timeline
parts
is
that are
another
so
story.
nasty.
From 2004
Also, is the volume okay?
through 2014,
It looks
Halo
perfect in
2's
OBS, but let me know.
legendary world record was near continuously held by one player, Mr. Monopoly. Monopoly
So,
became synonymous
he had a monopoly on
with
the
Halo
speedrun?
speedruns, holding records and playing the game at live events. But the timeline of the world record itself isn't all that interesting. Monopoly got the Halo 2 record in 2006 and remained dominant for the next 8 years.
Oh my god, is this gonna be
However, in June 2014,
gonna be the typical
Halo
shit
community got a big surprise.
where somebody random
343 Industries announced Halo
pops in
the
and-
Master Chief Collection, a compilation of all the mainline Halo games. And to celebrate Halo 2's 10th anniversary, 343 was going to remaster it as Halo 2 Anniversary, with graphical upgrades and a few other changes.
Dude, the cutscenes were so
And
crazy.
it just so happens that members of their development team were speedrun fans. Big enough fans that they flew out Goat Rope and Monopoly,
Really?
top speedrunners for the first 2 Halo games, to help playtest the games a few months before their release.
Oh,
They
wow.
spent about 20 hours playtesting, then sat down with 343's franchise writer to name achievements after top Halo speedrunners. And fittingly,
That's awesome.
the achievement for beating Halo 2 Legendary quickly enough monopolized. It's clear that from
That's
the
cool.
get-go,
I never knew that.
343 Industries designed Halo the Master Chief Collection with speedrunning in mind. While most of
those
the games
part times,
included were
man.
essentially
Solo,
identical to their
fuck
original
that.
release,
I
Halo
think
2
we
Anniversary
did like
was
all of
sufficiently
them or
different
most
that
of
it
them.
became its own speedrun category.
Same with the scores.
So, right at the game's release in November 2014, players began
Like anything
running
that was
Halo
4
2
players.
Anniversary.
I don't remember if this one was.
Monopoly and a runner
This would have
named
been
HockeyFan48 traded the
one-
legendary record
CE
back
was definitely
and
one
forth
player.
in the first few days.
Sorry, 2 players.
But the first run we're going to look at came a few weeks later. Halo 2 Legendary.
I know we did like
completed
3,
in
4
2 hours and
ODST
17
Reach.
minutes by none other than Mr. Monopoly. First off, Monopoly went into this run expecting to die. A lot. It's just not realistic to have a deathless playthrough of Halo 2 on Legendary unless you're going slowly and being extremely careful.
Okay.
Fortunately, there are checkpoints throughout
So even
each level,
speedrunners get murked.
so when you die, you can quickly enter
Wow.
the menu and revert to the last checkpoint. But Monopoly didn't have to worry about dying too much in the first level.
Yeah, didn't Charlie
The
do like
Arbiter,
a
which
bounty
is
on this?
essentially a 2.5-minute cutscene
Where
that
it was like
serves
beat it
as a
on lasso,
tutorial.
and it was
Given
for
the
like
length
10
of the
grand, and it
run,
took
we
months and
won't
months
talk
for somebody
about
to do
every
it.
level in depth right now. But Cairo Station is the first real level, and Monopoly did his best to move quickly and ignore as many enemies as possible. When he had to fight them, he tried to clear out the elites quickly with an overcharged plasma pistol shot,
And then a
then
headshot.
from the battle rifle.
Yeah, classic.
He also strafed to try and avoid being shot, but still had to take cover at times, and was careful to avoid being too aggressive. Next up was Outskirts,
That
which
makes
has
sense.
a famous intended trick from the developers. By doing a series of grenade jumps, where you throw a grenade.
Oh, actually,
and
yeah,
time
isn't there like
jump
a
to get
skull or
boost
some
upwards,
shit from doing this,
you can
or like
get
a
on
doll?
top of the buildings and make it out of bounds.
I feel like I had to do this.
This lets you skip fighting a long wave of enemies on the ground. The second half of the stage involves a lot of driving, and Monopoly switched to the Warthog since the Marines soak up a lot of the damage and let you live longer.
Oh.
Eventually, Monopoly arrived at the Oracle. This is one of the longest levels in the run, with wave after wave of enemies.
And I guess
to
this
fight
became the
through.
standard for running it
But
because
he had tricks to help. On the elevator,
just runs better and you
you're
have
normally supposed
less
to
load times and
slowly
shit.
ride it all the way down. But if you wait for a death box to despawn, you can fall off the edge and land on the precise spot you need to continue the level. The rest
And you
of the
don't die
level
of
is
fall
a lot of
damage?
clearing out
Damn.
enemies,
You're
and
a legendary,
5
huh?
deaths to go along with it. Delta Halo is one of the most broken levels in the game. He started by jumping on the hillside to
That's
get
the one
on
with like the
top,
Banshee gun or
then
some shit,
hitting
yeah?
a trigger that allowed him to progress and continue on top of the hill. He
no, I
then
think it was the
got in a
previous level.
ghost and was supposed to activate a bridge to get across this gap. But instead, he did this.
I love the fact that it was a
Turns out,
flip
a grenade
too.
is strong enough to boost vehicles as well, and
Wow.
Monopoly was able to save half a minute. The next level is called
Half a
Regret,
minute.
and it features one of the biggest tricks in the run, early gondola. The intended route at the start is to work your way around the structures and platforms, then land on the middle platform, which acts as a trigger to send the gondola away. You can't ride it yet. After killing all the enemies,
right.
another gondola begins to come toward you.
Right,
And
right,
once
right.
it arrives, you can hop on and ride it to progress through the level. It'd save a lot of time if you could just ride on that initial gondola that goes away, but as soon as you get near it, it's gone. That's where early gondola comes into play. Monopoly used a careful jumping route to go straight to the gondola, including a slide jump, where you use the extra momentum from a slide to extend your jump across a gap. He then left the gondola to hit the edge of the trigger on the middle platform, then quickly got back on the gondola
Oh, so that
just
moves it?
before it pulled away. He had to avoid dying on the way from the enemies that spawned, but once he was in the clear, he had saved 2.5 minutes by not having to wait for the second gondola. Now, he did die 6 times throughout the level, but using early gondola at the start was
I wonder if the final speedrun's gonna have no deaths.
A few levels later came Gravemind, the longest and most notorious level in the run. To get an idea of what I mean, this is how the level begins on Legendary.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
And to clarify, Monopoly knew this was coming.
I guess this is this
Even
game's
so,
library,
he
huh?
struggled to take cover in time. And it's a good representation of the rest of the level. There are enemies everywhere, and Monopoly had to strike a balance between keeping moving and trying to stay alive.
Yeah, this level is
Gravemind
nasty.
ended up taking him over 26 minutes, and he died 34 times. He did have some tricks to
lots of time to save there.
like jumping into a sloped rock so he could go out of bounds and walk above long hallways. This
I feel like that too, there was a doll or some shit there.
Monopoly also used a trick called corridor deload. During reinforcement battles, he stood in precise spots between waves to fool the game into thinking he was out of bounds, so the enemies didn't detect him and never spawned in. But even with tricks like this to help, he was overmatched. He died all throughout Gravemind, but eventually he did make it through.
Speedrunner, by the way.
After a
no, but
couple
that's
shorter levels in Uprising and High
This is the one with the snipers, no?
Monopoly arrived
No,
at
it was
the
the
Great Journey.
It was the city
Halo
one.
2's final level. He was able to despawn the Wraiths by simply driving away from them and hitting a checkpoint, and then went inside with the Ghost. He died several times while trying to navigate through, then got in the Banshee to wait and enter the final section of the level. Once inside, he took out the enemies.
Okay, I forgot about the Banshee. I was like, what? What?
And the run was
What the fuck you could do? Wait, you could kill Tartarus with the Banshee?
Died 66 times throughout the game's 14 levels, with more than half of those coming in Gravemind alone. That's Halo 2 on Legendary for you. But to be fair, Monopoly was at a disadvantage. He was the Halo 2 Classic record holder, and this was Halo 2 Anniversary. That meant adjusting to slightly different physics, tricks, and enemy behavior. Monopoly
enemy
is one
behavior.
of the best to ever play Halo 2, but 66 deaths obviously wasn't the end goal. However, he left the Halo 2 Anniversary record up for grabs, as after this run, he went back to playing Halo 2 Classic. In fact, that's what most of the community did. Despite Halo 2 Classic having a history dominated by Monopoly, it remained the more popular speedrun. And there's a specific reason why. See, when 343 remastered Halo 2, they based it off of a patched version of the game. As a result, many glitches from the original game weren't present.
That makes sense.
It may have seemed like a good move at the time, but for speedrunners, these glitches were used all over the place. So, since Halo 2 Anniversary couldn't be optimized like Classic could, many runners simply ignored it. That being said, it wasn't completely abandoned. A community of runners still played Halo 2 Anniversary, trying to better optimize the run with fewer deaths and faster movement. Numerous world records
Wait, that
were
was
set
the
to
top
run
10?
with fewer deaths and
there's a difference of like 20, 30 minutes? Jesus.
Were set, and the time came down quickly. But sadly, from 2015 through 2017, nearly no legendary world record videos survive. It's hard to say why people didn't save their times, especially ones that were world records.
I wonder if the series...
Twitch automatically saved them as past broadcasts for a while, but those eventually were deleted, and no records were ever highlighted or uploaded to YouTube.
I wonder if the Series
Although
X
we can't watch these runs today,
changes things because it loads faster, right?
The timeline was. Here's what survives of the early Halo 2 Anniversary record history. In early 2015,
but then I guess there's also PC, so...
Cryphon set a series of world records, ultimately taking the time to 2:03:58.
Damn!
Cryphon
20-minute difference.
Competitive Halo player, and got into Halo 2 speedruns after seeing the speedrunning achievements that 343 added. He spent a few
Oh.
months playing Halo 2 Anniversary, lowered the record, then moved on to playing Halo 2 Classic. A few months later, Andy's Mountain came along. He got into running the game the same way Cryphon did, seeing the speedrun achievements and trying it out himself.
I love this type of shit, man. There's always some people that just pop
he took
out
the record from 203
and
to
destroy
2 hours flat.
the records.
Finally, a few months later, Nazar23 took the top spot. He was big into speedrunning individual levels, especially
okay.
Regret, setting numerous records there for Halo 2 Anniversary. He didn't have much interest in running the full game, but eventually he was persuaded to try it. And Nazar23 wound up getting the first sub 2 hour run in the game's history, later lowering the time to 156. Late in 2016,
just the idea of beating any Halo game on any difficulty in under 2 hours is crazy.
Subtract loads from the final time, since they could vary slightly from runner to runner.
Okay,
that took about 6 minutes off of all runs, meaning the world record was now retimed as a 150.
So that's how you deal with like the series, the One, the 1X, the PC.
A 149 from speedrunner Jervalen, who'd been running the game for a few months and saw his chance to take the top spot.
A few months?
This is Halo 2 Anniversary's early timeline. An irregular progression, with bursts of activity followed by months of silence. It's unfortunate that no videos survived, but at least the history is preserved.
Yeah, it's so weird because it's like recent enough that
April 2018, Jervalen came in clutch.
Oh, it's good, Chris. It's just solo. It's fucking hard, man. So, like some bosses were brutal, and eventually I was just like, okay, I'm just gonna watch the rest of it. I was on like the third to last level, and I just got sick of getting fucked and destroyed.
Now it's down to 146. This is gonna look pretty different.
But it's like 2.5, 3 hours.
Well,
so
right
if you and
from the
McGee co-op it, or if you want to co-op the three of us,
all throughout the run, Jervalen
won't take long. It'll be much
enemies
easier
more directly instead of hanging back.
But it's super cool.
Cairo
The art's
alone,
crazy. The music's crazy.
Real level, this saved him 45 seconds.
But I'm just dog shit at beat him up. So
more aggressively can be faster. You do run the risk of dying more. But Jervalen improved in that department too. He saved nearly 3 minutes over the following 3 levels by reducing the amount of deaths. Another major area of improvement was new strategies. Many of these had been slowly implemented over the last 3.5 years, but this is the first time we can see them in a run. And some are pretty huge. In Oracle, Jervalen sent the elevator up, then got underneath it and sent it back down. The result was him being launched into the air, shooting through the elevator shaft to the top.
Like, how do you figure this shit out? Do you like accidentally fall and it happens, and you're like, wait, this is...
It also has an important side effect. The game makes you invincible in the elevator shaft, and since the elevator never reaches the top, the trigger to take your invincibility away is never hit. So, you're invincible for the remainder of the level.
Oh, wow.
This trick is called the pressure launch, and was found by none other than Mr. Monopoly. Delta Halo was also drastically changed. The level has 5 triggers.
Look how crusty this looks, because even though it's remastered, it's still the era where everything's gray and brown.
Out of bounds to take shortcuts. As long as he activated all the triggers, he was able to scale mountains and cut corners all day. He did this more than Monopoly did, and was able to skip fighting many enemies. But the biggest strategy overhaul came in Halo 2's final level, the Great Journey. You need to get the Spectre inside the final room. Normally, that's not possible, since the Spectre travels on the ground and the door to enter is high in the sky.
I forgot about the Spectre.
But by parking it in a safe space earlier in the level, then hopping back in later and riding along the right side ridge, you can stop on top and wait for the Scarab to break open the door. The ending trigger extends out of the building, so you can precisely let the Spectre drop down and fall into the cutscene. If done properly, the Spectre will survive and make it inside.
What the fuck?
And once there, you can perform one of Halo 2's finest tricks, Johnson cloning.
I've heard about this.
One of the AI Marines, is able to repeatedly lower the final boss's shield so you can inflict damage. Johnson only shoots the boss so often, limiting your abilities to damage him. So let's find a way to create more Johnsons. By forcing Johnson to get in the Spectre, the game detects he's not in the level and spawns another one. By forcing that Johnson to get in, the process repeats.
Oh
And
shit.
you can create infinite Johnsons, although each additional one costs more time. Eventually, the game spawns one final Johnson, and you take the other 3 Johnsons to the middle platform in the Spectre. All 4 Johnsons attack the boss, his shields are lowered more often, and the fight is complete in a fraction of the time.
What the fuck?
Thanks to Johnson cloning and other tricks across the run, Jervalen had a massive leg up on Monopoly.
Wow,
But
man.
the biggest difference wasn't new strategies. It was the amount of deaths.
Yeah.
Monopoly died 66
66
times
times.
in his run. How many deaths did Jervalen have? 9. Jervalen's 146 didn't last on top too long. Even though much of the community was focused on Halo 2 Classic, there was still one top runner who kept his attention on the remake. His name was By Nails, and almost immediately, he began setting records in Halo 2 Anniversary. That May, he beat Jervalen's run by about 3 minutes. There wasn't much in the way of new strategies, but there's a couple levels in particular where he saved big time.
How's Blops going,
Quarantine
Chris?
Zone, the level directly before Gravemind, can be a major run killer. The final 5 minutes are essentially an auto-scroller, but the first section involves doing some extremely careful driving. You have to go from room to room,
Dude, this
dodging
level is
enemies
so
as
brutal.
much as possible and hoping you don't get sniped.
Mm-hmm.
Deaths can be very costly depending on your last checkpoint, and although Jervalen died once, Nails was able to drive faster and avoid dying, so he saved a full minute. Now, on average, Nails did die more across the run, 11 deaths versus Jervalen's 9. But
It's just
his
where he
deaths were
died.
less costly,
Yeah.
and he played faster elsewhere. In Oracle, he had small time saves while in combat that added up to roughly half a minute. And in Gravemind, despite dying 5 times, he actually gained time over Jervalen.
Jeez.
It's an important lesson in Halo 2 speedrunning. Deaths can be costly, yes, but if you're aggressive enough with your play, the time saved from being faster can outweigh a few extra deaths. Nails had a great run, but as mentioned earlier,
So
the
imagine
community's
if you're
attention was
good
elsewhere.
enough and
Without
lucky
the
enough
glitches that, Halo
that you're
2
fast and
Classic
don't
had,
die.
most runners just viewed Halo 2 Anniversary as a sideshow.
Bro.
Despite some solid recent records from Jervalen and Nails, top runners put most of their efforts into the original game. That's the way it had been for years, and it showed no signs of stopping. But then, in August 2018, 343 Industries made an announcement that changed everything.
I don't remember this. I don't remember it at all.
Just shy of 4 years after the game's release, 343 modified Halo 2 Anniversary's mechanics. There were a handful of minor changes, but the most relevant one for speedrunners? They added glitches from Halo 2 Classic back into the game. It's time to introduce you to Sword Tech.
They brought glitches back literally just for speedrunners? That's so awesome. Or it was just like a patch that didn't work as intended.
When Halo 2 Classic
Or like they
was
fixed
released
thing
in
A and it causes glitch
2004,
B.
it had one particularly game-breaking glitch. You lock onto an enemy with a weapon, then switch to the energy sword, and cancel the animation of the switch by reloading right as it starts. This creates a 2-frame window where the energy sword turns into a long-range weapon and can lock onto that same faraway enemy.
Oh,
If
so you just
in that
lunge?
tiny window, you'll go
Oh,
flying
shit.
across the map. This can be done throughout the run,
Oh.
and variations can save even more time. You can jump while flying to get more air, and soar past nearby enemies by adding in a jump and action input.
That's
Bungie
crazy.
patched sword tech out of Halo 2 in 2005, and when 343 remastered the game, they followed suit. But in 2018, with most of the speedrun community ignoring Halo 2 Anniversary,
Oh wow,
sword tech was reintroduced.
they did it on purpose. As a new update, pre-release, but you can now sword fly like you could in pre-patch Halo 2, so you can fly even further. Now here's an example of a sword fly in this update. Or no, wait. Okay, no, this is... Okay, I thought that was like a Bungie post.
During Halo 2
or a
Anniversary,
343 post or whatever.
sword tech was reintroduced. A rare instance of developers adding glitches intentionally.
Okay, no, they did. Okay, interesting.
And
They did do it
worked.
intentionally. That's crazy.
Speedrunners began paying attention to Halo 2 Anniversary. Within months, it would surpass the popularity of Halo 2 Classic. But right away,
I wonder
it
if they
was
literally
clear
just
that
did it
the
just to
world
have
record would be
MCC have more
shattered.
people playing, you know?
Sword tech saves several minutes across the run. You not only gain time by flying through the air, but also reduce your odds of dying by skipping over enemies on the ground. The record wasn't going to remain at 143 for long,
Clearly.
and in October 2018,
Under 130?
the first world record with sword tech was set. 137.25 by Cryphon.
I wonder if it's going to go under
Cryphon
130.
did sword flying all over the run. A couple big ones were in Cairo, skipping having to traverse the outside sections. There were a few smaller ones in Arbiter and Oracle, but the most significant one came in Regret. Instead of having to slowly ride on the first gondola,
No shot.
Cryphon got a bit over halfway through, locked onto a faraway enemy, and took off.
What the fuck?
There were a handful of other significant sword flies later, particularly in Gravemind.
That's
But
crazy.
sword tech wasn't the only change made in the patch. 343 made slight modifications to the entire physics engine, making it more in line with Halo 2 Classic. So, one other broken mechanic was inadvertently added back in: butterflying.
What the
By
fuck?
getting an enemy in position right above you, you can melee and then cancel to preserve your momentum and travel around through the air. This is used in two major
What?
places.
But on Legendary, don't
in
they just...
Gravemind,
bounce
you're
you?
supposed to go down the elevator to play the prison section, then go back up and resume the rest of the level. But instead, by luring an enemy over and falling with him on top of you, you can butterfly back upwards by repeatedly melee canceling to activate the elevator that takes you back up. The game thinks the prison section is complete, and you save 3 to 4 minutes by not even having
I
to
just
go
don't understand
down
how
there.
he's not attacking
Prison
the player.
skip was found by Mr. Monopoly in 2016.
And how do you melee cancel? What
but
the fuck?
couldn't be applied to Halo 2
Is it like
Anniversary.
switch
until
weapon while
now.
meleeing?
This works! I did it! I skipped Gravemind Prison! This is Gravemind Prison skip!
The other trick is in
Huh.
High Charity. Halo 2's
Also,
second
Chris,
to
I remember
last
you saying
level.
that this was like one of the
ending
weaker
portion of
summoning
High
salt
Charity
videos.
is actually
I'm loving
right
it, man.
below where you begin. So if you lure an enemy over and begin butterflying off the edge, you can time your melee so that you have a controlled descent down to the ending. You also have to navigate to the side at times, and it can be quite tricky.
They're
But
all
if done
great.
properly, you'll skip playing the level and save close to 3 minutes. The trigger for High Charity skip was found by a player named Nibre, while several others made the
But
trigger
if I had to pick as
reality.
well, that's fair. Okay.
The modern setup was found
Like, it's not
by
a weak
Monopoly.
video, it's just weaker compared to
With
the others.
sword flies, prison skip, and High Charity skip all added in. Cryphon
Okay, yeah,
had
I
the
just noticed at the
potential
top.
to
It-
save
okay, so
over
you-
10 minutes.
You go to
But his
melee
run was
and you
only
switch
a
weapons.
6-minute improvement. He died 19 times, and most sections of
see.
the run were slower outside of the new strategies. It was an unoptimized time, understandable given that it was the first world record after the patch. With sword tech being possible, the community was more excited about Halo 2 Anniversary than ever before. The strategies had been found.
This is so cool,
Now,
man.
they had to optimize the
Yeah,
record.
Chris, how's the Blops
Over
endeavors
the following
going?
few months, Nails took the time down to 1 hour and 32 minutes. Nails had turned into an absolute monster since his last record, and to this day he's considered to be the greatest Halo speedrunner of all time. He's gotten top times in every main game and
Oh,
has
wow.
held the record in several. Back in late 2018,
Interesting. So
he
there's
was focused on
easy
Halo
and
2
legendary. I guess people don't
Anniversary
focus on normal and
took
heroic.
5 minutes off the record, starting with a 135.
I guess because
and
easy
then
is
getting
just
a
like
132.
pure speed, because there's like no chance
Nails
of
didn't
dying
do
when
much
you're that good.
different from Cryphon, but he did die less, 13 times versus Cryphon's 19. Was that really enough for such a large record improvement? Well, 5 minutes might seem like a pretty big difference, but that's because of the nature of Halo 2 Legendary. It's an incredibly difficult speedrun to optimize. There's too many places to die, and it's inevitable that things will go wrong. Since deaths cost roughly 30 seconds on average, it's easy to see why there was so much room for time save. Just 5 days after Nails' 132, another 3 minutes came off the record.
130.
A runner named Rocats got the first
And it's a
sub
new person.
130 in the
Every
game's
time.
history.
Every time.
Rocats got into the game in 2016, but like so many others, he returned once sword flying was patched back in. He grinded for a
But
few
yeah,
months
Chris,
in
that sucks, man.
2018,
Hopefully the rest goes
and in
smooth.
January
Hopefully you like the campaign more than I did.
He got a 129.55 with only 8 deaths. Most of his time save came early, and the only
I
death
did the
in first
campaign, didn't
half
like
was a
it, did the
nearly
multiplayer stream, got
unavoidable
dumpstered,
snipe
and then I
in
looked at the
Metro.
achievement list. I
Blood
literally just
Time
did the
Grave
tutorial
Mine
and then I
gained 6
uninstalled.
deaths, but
It's
played
like,
Great Journey much more aggressively. He did sword tech faster and stopped to kill fewer enemies. The record was in a good spot, being under 130. But despite the progress, there was still room for improvement. Tricks could
Crazy,
be
man.
cleaner and combat could be smoother. So, Rocats continued to play. And over the following several months, this is what he did.
Yo, I don't think I've heard this song on a Somebody Saw video yet. Fire. Let's get the GMC8, boy. Is he gonna go to
By
what?
early 2021, the time was down to 126.34.
Crazy.
A decent chunk of time save came from the Regret boss fight.
That
where
boss
he
is
had
such
an
a
extremely
fuck.
clean kill in his 126.39. You have to board him 5 times and reach a damage threshold each time. He can spawn in 8 different locations.
Don't
after
remember
each
why, but I feel
cycle,
like I've
and if
had
he
to fight
spawns
him on
far away and
Legendary
you get
or
unlucky
some
with
shit
other enemy
for an
spawns,
achievement.
you can die very easily.
I
But
don't
in this
remember.
one, Rocats
I
had
just
an
remember him driving me
extremely
fucking
quick
crazy.
fight, with no deaths and close spawns from the boss. For years, Halo 2 Classic had dwarfed Halo 2 Anniversary in popularity. But how the turntables? Thanks to the patch, Halo 2 Anniversary had surpassed Halo 2 Classic. As expected, competition at the top started to increase. A player named Firebanch became the second runner to cut 130 in early 2021. But Rocats ultimately prevailed, getting a 124 in August 2021.
Dude, it's crazy to think that in a month,
boss
that's
kill in Great
5
Journey.
years ago already.
By September, Rocats had held the record for close to 3 years straight, and showed no signs of giving it up. But then, the Halo 2 community voted to make an interesting rule change. As mentioned before, Halo 2 starts with a level called the Armory, which is basically a 2.5-minute cutscene. There's no enemies, and time saves are extremely minimal. It's pretty frustrating to have to begin every speedrun attempt with this level.
So they got rid of it.
So, in September 2021, the community set up a vote to determine if it could just be skipped, and all speedruns could start on level 2, Cairo. Many old school runners were against removing Armory, and remain against it to this day. But in the end, the community chose to remove it, and all Halo 2 runs could now start from Cairo. This changed a lot. For one thing, all runs were now 2.5 minutes faster, so the world record
I mean, yeah,
was
if it's like
retimed as a 122.
super basic and there's nothing
But
to it
also
compared to the
changed
rest
how
of it,
runs were
that makes
done
sense.
Going forward, you could get a good run going much more easily, as you didn't have to replay Armory every time you wanted to start over.
Oh, that makes sense.
Cairo could be better optimized, and ultimately, the entire run could be too. Removing Armory was
That makes
certainly
sense.
a
Like if you
controversial
you know
decision,
practice
but
for
it
3 or
brought
4
a
hours,
new wave of popularity to the speedrun.
depending on how many runs you knock out, that could be like an extra run.
A couple months after the rule change, Cryphon got a great run going. He hadn't held the record in over 3 years, but he was going to have a chance at this. He saved a big chunk early in Cairo and never looked back, slowly gaining time over the following levels. The important sword flies and regret went well, as did the boss fight. And after a gold split on Sacred Icon,
I don't remember, why
he
did I
was
do
nearly
that
2
boss?
minutes ahead, and on pace for a
All I know is that
123. He
did it for
entered
something and it drove
Quarantine
me
Zone,
fucking crazy.
5 levels from the end. But then... a couple untimely deaths and some slow navigating meant Cryphon's lead nearly entirely vanished.
Damn.
His world record chance was gone, but he still got a nice personal best out of it.
Okay.
But Rocats had better look out. With Armory being removed from timing, other runners were more determined than ever to get the world record. In particular,
That makes
there
sense.
were 3 of them.
That makes sense because yeah, I'm sure
Cryphon
like
was in second place, and we've
get
seen
bored.
how much potential he had. He'd been
I'm sure they get
dominating
bored
Halo
after a
2
while,
Classic
right?
For years.
But
And with
that
a better
beginning must be
quarantine
so
zone,
boring if you're that
he would
good.
have had the Halo 2 anniversary record as
And
well.
it's just a level of nothing.
In third place was a runner named Sinister. He'd been running the game for a couple years, slowly lowering himself into world record contention. And while he was still 5 minutes behind the record, he had the potential to get it with a really strong run. And finally, there was Zoo. He was originally a Halo 3 runner, but later started focusing on Halo 2 Anniversary with Cryphon as his mentor. He
As
was
his
the
mentor.
farthest from the record, with his main goal being to beat Cryphon and get second place. But Zoo had one advantage over his competitors, thanks to a trick he went for right as the speedrun begins. Tram skip. At the start of Cairo, there's a tram that leaves behind you. It passes by a later section of the level, so if you can just
Seen
go
them
where
just
the tram's
fall.
headed, you can skip the first part of Cairo. Problem is, there's an invisible barrier that pushes you back, and it doesn't disappear until after a door closes that you also can't pass through.
Uh-huh.
If you try to approach the barrier,
Wasn't there a
you'll get
skull in
pushed
there or
back
something?
through the open door. There's no way to make it through. Well, in 2019, Nails found a way around this, and in 2020, Monopoly improved upon it with an easier method. You start by shooting your teammates until just before they turn and aggro to you. You then push a Marine into the corner of the tram, and as he rides away, you follow him. By spamming melee, he'll become an enemy and you can cling to him as the tram passes through the door. Once the barrier disappears, you're free to move forward through the rest of the level.
Wow.
This saves 45 seconds as you don't have to play the start of Cairo, but it
Yeah,
comes
that's
with
like-
a catch. Your teammates will try
Oh,
to kill
yeah.
you for the remainder of the level. This isn't too problematic.
That skips
on
the whole
easy
room with, like,
mode,
the-
but on Legendary, your teammates kill you fast.
The
So, despite being discovered years earlier, it wasn't used in full game runs. Until
it's the room with
Zoo
the
came along.
the ships
He had
like
a lot
bring
of
enemies in,
runtime
right?
Early, but he had a
That boarded you and shit?
45-second advantage by going for it. So, in short, all 3 of these runners had a chance to get the record. Let the competition begin. Well,
yeah.
in May 2022, Zoo struck first, getting a 124.29. With just one personal best, he had nearly accomplished his goal of beating Cryphon.
Damn,
The run
son.
wasn't on record pace for too long, but this was still a remarkable time. Zoo was starting to make a name for himself in Halo 2.
I guess though.
At this point, when I had the 124, I wasn't really looking to get record at the time. My main goal at that point was just to bop Cryphon, like a student becomes a teacher type of thing.
When he ended up getting the 124, I think his goal was to just bot me at the time, like you mentioned. I probably told him that he can get whatever time he wants and the torch is his to take.
With this run, it was now clear. Zoo was the odds-on favorite to get the record. Despite taking a break to play more Halo 3, where he set that legendary
110,
world record,
bro.
Zoo quickly came back to Halo 2, and on May 28th, he was able to get on an excellent run. He pulled further and further ahead. After Quarantine Zone, he was minutes ahead of his personal best, but he still had to get through Grave. He was minutes ahead of his
I have no life. That's
personal
funny.
best, but he still had to get through Gravemind.
Oh, the Gravemind looks
Like,
so
Gravemind
good
is,
in
like,
this
The
version.
main run killer, you know, like everyone just fears Gravemind. I had like a 920 Gravemind, which is pretty good for a full game legendary
920.
run.
The beginning of the
after I
video
finished that,
was
I was
26 minutes.
I was
Yeah.
getting nervous. I was kind of getting shaky. This run actually had a shot to get record.
When they enter the last level, it's exciting. Like, at least as a longtime runner of the game, like your heartbeat gets way up there with them because you know just how much pressure they have on themselves and just how much pressure there is to perform.
But unfortunately, he couldn't lock it down this time.
No.
He ended with a 122.37.
I mean, he
just 17
he bopped
seconds
Gryphon.
behind the world record.
You know, I missed record by 17 seconds at the time, but I was really excited to get a PB that close to record. I was pretty happy with it. I was pretty motivated by it to kind of keep going.
So,
Makes sense.
Zoo continued onward. He didn't play for a few weeks thanks to Moist Critical's Deathless Lasso challenge, but afterwards he got back to it. And on August 7th, he was on another remarkable
What's up, Joe?
pace,
How's it going?
gaining time in level after level. After Sacred Icon, his lead was nearly a full minute, way ahead of world record pace. But unfortunately, Quarantine Zone did not go well.
2020
And an
simulator.
untimely death in Gravemind
Bruh.
was the nail in the coffin.
Oh.
I mean, as a longtime Halo 2 runner, that's like classic Halo 2 legendary speedrunning. You will lose every single run, or at least a majority of them, to Quarantine Zone through Great Journey.
This was now 2 huge record chances that he
Damn.
missed. He was starting to let it
That
slip
fucking
away.
sucks.
And right on cue, Gryphon and Sinister started to close in. Just 3 days apart, they set new personal bests of a low 124 and a low 125.
It's
I
125.00.
saw, hey, I still have what it takes, I guess, you know? And I might have a shot at it.
I was still like kind of motivated to grind it, but yeah, I was like losing hope a little bit.
A couple more weeks passed, with nothing from Zoo.
This
But
is the
finally,
only
he was able
Summoning
to get
Soul
on
video I
another
can remember
good
where he
run.
had
He started with
he has the guys
Tramp
come on and like
Skip,
do
then
commentary.
kept it close over the
I
following
know he gets
levels.
help with
Oracle
info and shit
Regret
usually,
were both
but
solid, and he ended up with a gold split on
That's
Sacred
cool.
Icon. Things were looking pretty good.
He was getting into Gravemind at a pretty good time, actually. You know, you look at his run, he says, "Here it comes," as soon as the Gravemind load happens.
All right, here it comes. Pray for me.
Gravemind was okay, with 5 deaths, but he followed it up with 2 more really good splits. Through it all, Zoo wound up being ahead going into Great Journey, a level where he had even more
he had
time
a
to
personal
save.
best. God, I
Seeing
hate
how
this
far
game.
ahead he was of the record actually entering it and how much time he had to play with. All I'm thinking in my head right here is, you've done this a million times before, just hold it down. You have time to lose. Do not full tilt if Great Journey trolls you. All you need to do is hang on, and you got this.
I wonder if we're gonna see a minus like under 120. It seems like it.
It wasn't the best, it wasn't the cleanest, but it was good enough to pull out the record.
Did I do it? Oh my god, let's go.
Under 122.
Barely a 121 as well.
More so than
Damn.
anything, finally getting the record, I was just relieved.
He had finally broken through the barrier. He had finally taken his first record, and the sky's the limit at this point, you know? All
That's
he has
so
to do now
crazy.
is go wherever he wants to.
Zoo had the record, but he admitted in the description that he didn't expect to hang on to it for long. Rocats was still around, and Gryphon and Sinister weren't far behind. So, despite having accomplished his goal, he continued to do runs. And to shake things up a bit, he decided to start going for a new, incredibly risky strategy in Regret: the gondola launch. You start by getting on the first gondola at the start of Regret.
This isn't like a main strat yet.
You can deload the Phantom by repeatedly meleeing. This delays the checkpoint, which in turn deletes the Phantom when it reaches the middle platform. As a byproduct of all this, a timer starts on the second gondola, and when it runs out, it'll travel back to the start. Once you get to the middle platform, you push the button and finish killing the enemies. This acts as a trigger to send the second gondola forward. So the second gondola now has two commands, one to send it back and one to send it forward. And if these commands overlap within a roughly 1 second window, the game doesn't know what to do. So it deloads the gondola entirely. And the strange result of this, if you're standing on the gondola, you'll get launched through the air.
Oh, okay.
Wales figured out how to do this back in 2018.
I thought it was a sword thing.
For years it was considered too risky to do in legendary runs. You save a good 30 to 40 seconds by not having to wait to do the sword fly, but missing it costs nearly 2 minutes.
Oof.
Risky as it was, Zoo decided it was time to try implementing it in his runs. It would
I guess the runs get so competitive that at one point you don't have a choice.
The 40-second time save was too good to pass up. It could lead to some crazy paces. Well, on September 26th, Zoo got on a run with the gondola launch. It pushed him over a minute
Arby
ahead
and the
of
Chief,
the
I remember. Wasn't it Arby and the Chef?
This was a fantastic opportunity. But it got even more serious when he got a gold split on Gravemind, the fastest he had ever done it in a run. With just 3 levels to go, he was 2 minutes
I want to see under 120, man.
This was a chance for a sub 120, a time that seemed unthinkable to Zoo just weeks ago. All he needed was to get through 3 more levels. He just had to close it out. And well, here's how it went. In High Charity, he tried to lure the Flood over so he could do High Charity skip, but failed and had to revert.
Oh, it's all gonna fall apart.
He succeeded on the second try, but accidentally pushed him off the ledge. These time losses hurt, yet he still retained a minute lead. But Great Journey was even worse. He died 3 times, including twice while driving the Spectre. He still finished the run off as a world record, but it was nowhere near what it could have been. This was starting to become a habit for Zoo. He was getting crazy paces late into runs, and things went wrong in the final couple levels to derail it.
That sucks so much ass.
One thing clear. Sub 120 was now the ultimate goal for Halo 2. Zoo had been on pace for it. Now, he just needed a clean ending. Well, a few weeks later, he got on a run that fell behind in the middle levels. He had to revert to the last checkpoint 5 times in Regret, despite getting the gondola launch. He also had a slower ending to Sacred Icon, and couldn't match the gold split in Gravemind of his last run. Zoo was running against balanced splits that he had made, but in reality, he was about 45 seconds behind the record going into High Charity.
Damn.
But he knew he could save that time in the final 2 levels. And despite dying once in High Charity, he managed to save over a minute in the end to get the record.
Fucking
the final
hell.
time was 1:20:56. A solid record,
And he was
but
45
now
seconds
it had
behind?
the opposite problem. A weak middle game with a really strong ending. In order to get the sub 120, the run had to be great from start to finish. But Zoo wasn't discouraged. He pressed on.
Oh, I didn't realize that it shows
ever to get the sub.
It shows like the splits
and
or
the very next day after
the times and shit in game.
This happened.
I mean, unless he has that like custom made to look like it's part of the UI.
I was feeling very good about it from the very start because I got my Cairo was a 440, and that was my individual level record for Cairo. So right off the bat, I was like motivated to keep it going. Got a decent Regret this time. Got the time save, or a lot of the time save I needed for that mission.
When he built up this big time pool into Gravemind, you're kind of like, you don't want to set your expectations too high, but then he got a really good Gravemind. I think it was like a 905. That's just insane. So he's suddenly on this incredibly sick pace, and you're just hoping that it survives.
At that point, I was getting nervous again. I was letting the nerves starting to get to me.
12 levels into the run, Zoo had amassed a 1 minute and 23 second lead.
The way it's all worded, it sounds like
Just
this is
Great
gonna
Journey stood between
this is
him
gonna fall apart
and a
again.
119. But there was still so much that could go wrong.
At this point, when he entered Great Journey that far ahead, I was super nervous for him. He can either get his goal, he can be happy, or it's going to be the most heartbreaking run of his life. Having done some of those runs myself, I know it's not over until the final cutscene plays on Great Journey, and unfortunately, that's kind of how this run played out.
No!
Your heart sinks, and
Fuck,
it's just
man.
tragic to watch.
Despite the deaths, the run still finished as a world record. Zoo had missed the sub 120 by just 14 seconds.
That's so
Can I just
heartbreaking.
Get it already? Can I stop choking the last mission and just clutch it out?
The good news was that Zoo now had 50 seconds to save in the final level. So once again, if he could just get there on a reasonable pace, he could save a bunch of time and get the record.
Joe, did you ever see the Mario Kart 64 one? With, I think like his name was like Mateus or something? And he was trying to get all 32 world records?
Like having a,
I think it was like the
25 split.
There's
out of
4 cups, right? So it was
QZ,
every
people
record for every
consider like a sub 1 hour out of QZ to be
track
very
and
good.
lap.
I remember having like a 58-25. Like this runs pretty nuts right now. This one could be it. It could be the one.
Dude, it was so
As long as he can
crazy.
stay close to
I
his
think
PB,
I think like 7
he's
different
got
times
a
he
ton
got
of
was
time
at
to save
31
a
out of
Great Journey,
32.
almost a minute, in fact.
And then
And this run was
people made like an
shaping up just for that.
alliance to stop him,
I
and it was a
10
bunch of
seconds
speedrunners,
behind
like a
going
whole
Great
group of
Journey, but I had a
speedrunners to
minute
take
of
him
time
down.
save. There's so
It
much
was-
time to save.
It's
This-
crazy.
Run should definitely be it. On top of that, I was streaming, so I was like excited to get the sub 120 in front of everyone watching.
Also, you feeling better, Joe, by the way?
In the final boss, there's some reinforcement waves that happen when you're killing the final boss based on when he gets to a certain health threshold. Now, normally, they don't really matter, and you can get the final boss dead with the Johnson glitch. So once you kill the final boss, there is about 10 seconds before the level actually ends, and
Oh,
during that
no.
time, all the enemies and all your teammates, like, they're still active, they're still fighting out there. And if you're caught in the crossfire, you can easily die and just revert back to the very start of the fight.
So by the time I finally killed him, there was a brute right behind me. He punches me. I start freaking out. Like I didn't know what to do. I didn't know how to save it. So I kind of just did a random input, and then I lost it there.
Bro. No way! No way!
Yeah, there's so many emotions. Like I was angry.
Literally
annoyed, I
killed
was
the final
embarrassed
boss, and
because
the
this just
run got
happened on
fucked.
stream. This run was it. Tartarus was dead. All I had to do was wait 10 seconds, and then the run was finished.
It's heartbreaking to watch that happen, especially on a run so fast. It took a lot of me trying to like really reassure him and try to convince him like, hey, you've done this once, you can do it again. You're in a league of your own.
Air suck
You
cough,
are
but still
so
my nose
far
is in
ahead
all
of
that stuff.
everyone else, and the paces you're getting are so consistently fast that this is going to come with time.
Zoo's motivation hadn't dried up. He knew the sub 120 was within
That's
reach.
crazy, man.
He kept pushing onward through the month of November. And on November 7th, he'd have his next good chance.
It started off really good. Like, even though it started off with some time loss, a 448 Cairo was still like insane. The missions after that went pretty standard. So I ended up being ahead by quite a bit. And then Regret came. Regret, everything went my way basically. Then I finished QZ, ended up getting a QZ. A 57-53 split is, I remember also being hyped with that. Like, that's insanely fast for Halo 2 Legendary.
When I saw those splits, a run that was this fast and still gaining with time to save on Great Journey, I was blown away. This was shaping up to be one of the best Halo 2 speedruns of all time.
I do high charity skip. I remember specifically I practiced high charity skip a ton before this run, so I ended up getting a gold split.
Everything was aligning. Zoo had only died
I
7
always
times,
find it crazy when you run a
none
game
of
this
which
many
were
times and then you get a
particularly
gold
costly.
split. Like, holy fuck.
It all amounted to a 24-second lead going into Great Journey,
Jesus.
where he could save another huge chunk of time. The pressure was on.
So the gold
My
split,
mindset
right?
with
The
this
gold split
was
is
like
going
this.
into
If I'm
the Great Journey, right?
ahead at
Yeah.
all going into Great Journey, then like I have this in the bag. I should have this in the bag.
When he got to Great Journey, I am without a doubt certain that he was incredibly nervous.
As I progressed, everything seemed to
this
go my
music.
way completely. Okay, so the end fight, the Johnsons were like in some sort of conga line. The Johnson behind the first one wouldn't shoot at Tartarus because it would mean, he was shooting his own teammate. So he just didn't shoot at all. So that kind of prolonged the fight.
So
Like,
the
it was
glitch
taking a while for
glitched.
Tartarus to die. So that gave the brute reinforcements, giving the brute reinforcements time to get on the platform and kill me. But that didn't happen.
Oh, okay. Under 120. Holy shit.
It's so good. Like, there's, mistakes here and
That's
there.
crazy.
But Halo 2 Legendary, you don't get a run that's going to be perfect. This had so few deaths, so few mistakes, so little trolls by RNG, that the time is just incredible.
I felt this was like one of the only times where I felt happy with the PB, like I felt satisfied, like this is actually a good run. So I was happy, like happy for the first time with the PB with the run. It was such a good run. I finally considered a run to be good.
To this day, Zoo's 119 remains on top.
I was
of the leaderboard.
totally expecting it to be the typical summoning assault thing, and it'd be like, but one day later.
There's been a recent push to break the record, thanks to a $3,000 bounty placed by Eki. In the first few months of 2023, Kryphin, Sinister, and Nails have all improved their
Joe, did you ever
times.
see Charlie's
But Zoo's
lasso
world record
bounty
still stands
for
above
this
them.
game?
5 years ago, world record runs used to not be saved. The game was an afterthought compared to Halo 2 Classic. Now, Halo 2 Anniversary has a thriving community, with a world record
No.
that reflects
So,
that.
I could be wrong
As
because it's
solid as
been
it
a few
is,
years and my memory
there's
sucks,
no
but
doubt that
if I remember
competition will drive
correctly,
it
he
far
just like
lower in the
put out a
years to
lasso
come.
challenge that if anybody
This
could
has been
beat
the
it,
history of Halo 2 world records.
he would give them like X amount of
Thanks for watching.
dollars. Holy shit. And
Please don't forget to subscribe if you enjoyed, since that really helps me out. Thank you.
then time would pass, so he would up it or whatever. So if I remember correctly, it ended up getting to like $5,000 or $10,000 or something, and it took like 5 months or some shit before somebody finally did it. But somebody did do it. All right, man. That was once again, as always, a fucking banger. So YouTube, once again, please go show love to Summoning Salt. Like, subscribe, give the video a view and all that. That was awesome, man. Dude, speedrunning is so crazy to me. Like, I know that if I spent the rest of my life playing a game, I would never be able to do that. It's so sick. It's so sick. YouTube, thanks for watching. Peace.